How are they different?
Well, Lucifer walks the fence. Basically, he's the angel of light. What does light do? Basically, light is what brings reality to us. Okay, he's walking the fence between good and evil. We're all in the same boat. We all walk the fence between good and evil. Okay, how can we do that? Okay, well, through Lucifer.
Yeah. And the grace of God.
Through Lucifer. Basically, Lucifer has been exiled here because God won't tolerate the imperfections of this place, okay? He has Lucifer handle that for him. And that's why Lucifer is what he is. That's how he fell down here to earth, okay? He's performing a function here. That function is light. I mean, I don't know, do you follow what
I do, except I'm still trying to parse the difference a little. If Christ says, I saw Satan fall like lightning from heaven, is he describing Satan here, or he's describing Lucifer, or both?
If Christ were here and I could hear his exact words, I could perfectly interpret them.
Right, okay. Yeah.
But it's very hard to do that, 2,000 years after the fact, right? With all the different translations and interpretations that the Bible has undergone, okay? And so what I like to do is I like to approach it from first principles and look at it logically, right? Rationally. And what does logic tell us, if anything, okay? Well, logic tells us that basically God needs a negation, but that negation is too incoherent to function in this world except through human beings.
Right.
What's the rest of it? What's the rest of it all about?
Yeah.
And Lucifer is a concept that is better suited than Satan to that purpose.
I love this point that he's incoherent, that the old devil is incoherent. That I read some poem, I think it's a modern poem, that says, sin is a big problem because it's evil. But it's also a big problem because it's such a waste of time. It's so incoherent. When you think of when you take the suffering out of it, and you just think of people committing any particular sin, it just doesn't make any sense, does it?
Well, the sense that it makes to them is they're enjoying it. They're hedonistically deriving pleasure from the sin. And of course, we all, have the same pleasure mechanisms.
Yeah.
So we're all tempted to commit sin, but we've got to keep a lid on it. There have to be limits. Okay, and what I'm worried about is that now Satan controls the world, and there are certain people involved in running things who don't have those limits.
Well,
they're so rich, they're so powerful that they don't need those limits anymore. So they've more or less thrown them off.
Now, there's nothing new to the idea that Satan or Lucifer, or let's call him just the old devil himself, is the prince of this world, and that the rich and the powerful they do his bidding, and they're bad people, and they follow their lowest appetites and their pleasures, and they can be sadistic. And so that's been going on for a long time. Is there something particular about the moment we're living in that says it's actually gotten much worse?
Yes, that is that actually we've had so many technological advancements that now the technology of surveillance and coercion are such, and these people are so rich, they're like black holes gravitating all the money to themselves, that they're unstoppable, okay? And because they're unstoppable, because they actually run everything, okay, we are endangered by them now.
It sounds to me like you're saying we don't live in Schoolhouse Rock, I'm a bill up on Capitol Hill. We're not living in the republic that a lot of us say that we're living in.
That's correct. We're ruled, basically, the world is globalistic now. It's run by globalists. That's their goal. I mean, that's what global means. We're going global. Yeah.
It's oligarchic.
Huh?
And it would therefore be oligarchic.
That's absolutely correct. Oligarchic, because very few of them actually exist.
And this is beyond, a U.S. senator. This is beyond the structures.
Those are puppets. It's fairly common knowledge now, I suppose, that I regard most politicians as being one step removed from prostitutes.
Yeah. That's been true for
and that's not
oldest
universal.
professions.
There are a few exceptions, but let me tell you, they're on the run.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's a very serious situation, right? And if you take a look at these globalists, the ones that have thrown off all the limits, and they're fantastically rich and powerful now, and you take a look at what they actually have upstairs, I'm afraid it's not very impressive.
Right.
Okay? I mean, if you really look at their intellectual production, Soros might be the best of them.
Yeah.
He's at least got a theory of economics, it's flawed, But, you know, he at least has that. The rest of them are just a bunch of Sybarites.
What about, I guess even outside of banking or finance per se, what about someone like Bill Gates? That guy's everywhere. He seems to be, I don't know, why is he an expert on healthcare? I don't know, but my television tells me that he is. Why is he, so someone like that, but he's a smart guy. He's gotta be, right?
Oh, he's not stupid. Bill Gates is, he's got a respectable intellect, but there's something misfiring there. Okay, Bill is very concerned with overpopulation, and we do have an overpopulation problem.
So then this brings me to, I asked friends of mine, I said, speaking to Chris Langan, send in your questions. And most of the questions were about metaphysics and God and the CTMU and all of your thoughts on all those things. But one friend of mine, he said, you know, I want you to ask him about Bitcoin. I want you to ask him about money, and if there's any way to break the government or super government control of money. What do you think of, if I want to start my own currency, I guess I could, I'd call it Michael Coin. Is this one way to push back against an increasingly technocratic global form of government?
Yes, there is, but it has to start at the local level. You're not going to print your own world currency to compete head to head with these. You've got to go, you know, basically attend a few city council meetings. You've got to go in there, you know, say your piece, say we've got a problem, you know, basically the world is run by globalism. This is America. You know, we should have our right of self-determination here, but that's being taken away from us. See who, you know, agrees with you about it. You know, I mean, somebody will probably come up to you after your speech and say, you know, I agree with you 100%. Then you start, you find out who those people are, you get together, and you start putting pressure on your local politicians.
Are you saying the situation is so bad politically that people will call you a radical and an extremist and a terrorist for something like this, but are you saying basically, Jefferson, we need to go fight another revolution or something? Or is there...
I would just as soon see this whole thing resolved non-violently. Of course, I want peace on earth. I want everybody to feel as though we're in fellowship with each other, the brotherhood of man. You know what I'm talking about. That is the right way to do it.
When you or I or Donald Trump for that matter use the word globalism, what the liberal establishment says is, oh, that's either they'll say globalism is good and we should have more of it, or they'll say that's a crazy conspiracy theory, there's no such thing as globalism.
What?
I could point to a lot of international